Alright, Electric Motor Division, Service Department, Locomotive Service Manual, Section 8, the SD45 Locomotive. Electrical equipment, introduction, diesel engine drive with the 3 electrical generators, each of them supplied with the electrical energy locomotive operation. Basically, the main generator traction alternator furnishes more motor for the locomotive traction with the companion with the D14 alternator supplies power to excite the main generator. To drive the auxiliaries such as the fans and blowers, auxiliary generator supply with the low voltage DC power to control circuit light motor driven power pump, the D14 alternator excitation and battery charging. In order to control the generators as well with the circuit and equipment with the supplier power with the necessary for the electrical devices called for the contactor relay with the reactor switch for the circuit breakers and the regulators, the equipment is located with electrical cabinets. The following description covers the electrical component identified used in a typical locomotive installation. The exact function of the components as well if their identification may not agree with the specific locomotive application. Consult the locomotive wire diagram wiring running list for the specific information. Equipment description. Alright, your main generator, the AR-10 traction generator with a figure 8-1 with is the 3-phase alternating current. The generator with the integral command with the air cooled with the silicone rectifier assembly with the divided with the general electric output with electrical compatibility approximately 50%. Figure 8-1 shows the AR-10 traction alternator. Greater than the conventional direct current with locomotive traction generator, the rectifier assembly consists of the high current, high voltage silicone diodes with a 3-phase double wave with a full wave rectifier circuit fusing provided with the automatic removal of faded diodes. Each fuse is equipped with a spring-loaded indicator to protrude when the diode failure causes the fuse to blow. Thumb screws are used to release the inspection cover of the rectifier. Aerobatic visual inspection of the fuse condition can be made when the covers are removed and their thorough inspection windows are provided. Caution: inspection covers must be securely in proper place and during operation with the generator. Companion alternator. The D14 alternator figure 8-2 with physically connected with the electrically independent with the AR-10 traction alternator. The D14 rotator field is excited with low voltage current with receive the DC auxiliary alternator generator auxiliary generator through the pair with slip rings and adjacent with the AR-10 slip rings. With the exemption of the protective fuse with no control with the D14 excitation circuit with the alternator will be executed developing the power whenever the diesel engine is running. Output the voltage will vary with the speed, rotation, alternating temperatures, and load. Normally is the output of 195 volts to 120 cycles per second with the engine running at a full speed of 900 RPMs. Alright, traction motor. Figure 8-3 shows figure 8-2 shows the D14 alternator. 8-3 shows the traction motor. Electrical power from the main generator is distributed in the traction motor. 8-3. The mounted in the truck, the electrical motor is geared with a pair of the wheels with the gears ratio is selected with the type of the service intent, but the motors are cooled, meaning for the external blower located with the locomotive unit until the below mechanical driven with the engine. The motor field armatures are placed in the series that provide high starting torque required for the locomotive service with a higher motor rotating speed with reduce the back of the electric motor force to obtain with the weakening of the motor short fields. Through application of the shunting resistor around the field of the motor rotation reverse of the reversing the flow of the current through the field windings accomplished with a switchgear in the locomotive electrical cabinet similar to a switchgear used converting the traction motor's electrical generators dynamic braking. During the dynamic braking, the motor fields are connected with the series of the main generator output with the motor armatures that are connected with the high dissipating resistor grids and fans. Auxiliary generator. A low voltage direct current electricity required during the locomotive operation comes with the auxiliary generator figure 8-4 with this current with excitation of the D14 alternator as well with the energizing control circuit. Actuating electrical switch gear with the auxiliary generator self-excited machine with the residual magnetism into initial excitation with the voltage with the constant 74 volt static type with the voltage resist regulators with the field excitation circuit. Alright, your load regulator. Load regulator figure 8-5 with the plate type with the rheostat driven the hydraulically operated with the vane motor with the pilot valve with is in the engine governor for control for the flow of the engine oil under the pressure prior to the vane motor clockwise or counterclockwise through the maximum arc about 300 degrees, thereby positioning the rheostat brush arm and regulating the output of the main generator by the varying of the signal of the system with the control of the excitation with the generator field control with the generator field excitation result with the control of the load engine load control with the engine governor permits for the governor maintain engine speed with the regulation power with the current level of the given speed. Our figure 8-4 shows the auxiliary generator, the 10 kilowatt generator and the 18 kilowatt generator, and then figure 8-5 shows your load regulator. Alright, electrical cabinets. Number 1, electrical cabinet. Number 1, high voltage cabinet, figure 8.6 and 8.23, housed the majority of the locomotive electrical switchgear static devices front with cabinets for the rear of the wall, locomotive of the cab, the rear of the cabinet with the one wall of the central air compartment of the locomotive. Alright, show the main generator shunt panels on the bottom. The star denotes extra equipment. The extra equipment for the extended extended range of the program switches, transition sequence switches, switches and fuse panel, circuit breaker panel, wheel slip control panel, test jack, excitation control panel, FDT, extended range control panel, extended range brake control panel, extended warning panel, dynamic braking relay panel, performance control panel, wheel slip control, engine control panel. On the lower front portion of the electrical cabinet housed with a heavy-duty switchgear with the connect the main generator with the traction motor with the device with the same current but the voltage is located within the portion of the cabinet. The upper portion of the cabinet housed with the relay with the device related with the control circuit. It is control equipment, the generator, the range with the motor, modular form with the device is relayed with the particular circuit with the function may be mounted with the removal of the panel with the connected with the main wiring harness remains. A panel mounted terminal boards. The arrangement allowed that the modular panel contained with a suspected faulty device with the removed and entirely replaced with a qualified spare panel. The faulty panel may be within the bench tested qualified personnel at the time permits. High voltage cabinet front section, engine control panel. Engine control panel fitted with a typical extra shown figure 8.7 of this panel. Isolation switch run to isolate. Then you have dynamic braking field loop control set up in the switch and short and compartment. Signal light rear and front. Inspection limited with guard, generator motor fault, excitation limited turbo, auxiliary pump, no power. Oil crank pressure, low water, hot engine, and then you have some other switches here. Contains various switches and meters with warning lights with the exemption of the engine start switch. The device is mounted with the locomotive control stand with the engine control panel. Also, the device needed during the normal locomotive operation. Brief description with switches for the high functions. Light functions are provided with locomotive operators manual description. Much of the circuit involved in the engine control panel provided with another section of the locomotive panel. Wheel slip control panel. The device with a sense of electrical unbalance between the traction motor located with the lower back portion of the electrical cabinet. These devices use the signal of the relay located with the wheel slip control panel. Figure 388 with when the wheel clip creep slip is detected. The relays activate the wheel slip and control circuits. Resistor rheostats. Slider type of the resistor with the calibrate the wheel slip control circuit with an instruction testing setting. This resistors are provided with another section of the locomotive service manual. The WCR wheel creep relay. The wheel creep causes the slight electrical imbalance between the traction motor with the unbalance detected with the transducers through motor cable passes with the transducer signal with the operating with the wheel creep relay reacts on the modulate power with the applied stand to the rail. On the basis model, the SD45 locomotive, the wheel clip relay biasing coil is not connected on one such a locomotive with the sensitivity of the wheel clip relay is the same as the low track speed with the high track speed. Wheel slip relay. WS. Tendency for the locomotive wheel to slip is almost always corrected with the wheel creep relay. However, there is several instances true slip may develop in such an instance of the wheel. So the relay is picked up with the remove of the excitation from the main generator field with the consequently remove of the power of the wheels, creating unbalance between the motors and lower high motor speeds. Therefore, the relay is made more sensitive to locomotive speed with an increase of the plate with the relaying of the bias of the coil that acted upon the main generator voltage. Since locomotive power system voltage increase the current decrease, the efficiency of the wheel creep relay is maintained at a relatively constant level. Figure A8 shows the wheel slip control panel. You see the wheel creep relay, wheel slip on the bottom, and a whole bunch of resistors, and wheel slip 14, wheel slip 36, and BR8. With the exception of the relay blasting connection wheel slip relay opposite with the same the wheel creep relay calibrated with a pickup of the greater electrical imbalances between the motor. The WS14, WS37, 36, WS14, WS36 wheel slip relay operating coil with the relay is connected with the bridge circuit with the traction motor during the series parallel operation underpowered during dynamic brakes when loss of adhesion with one motor armature. Rotate the different speeds. Then the electrical paired motor, the relay operating coil for the energize with the power brake after the reduce the unit until the adhesion is gained with the third wheel slip relay located with the number 2 electrical cabinet. The BRA is the brake relay auxiliary. The relay is used with the need to provide the anti-air auxiliary interlock for further brake relay functions. I'm going to pause it for a second. Alright, excitation control panel. Device directly related to the calibration of the main generator excitation control circuits are placed on the excitation control panel, figure 8 and 9 with the center. Other devices that are also related to the main generator excited the radio control panel. Load regulator, for example, loaded elsewhere in the electrical cabinet or elsewhere on the locomotive. Alright, the sensor, the brake trigger magnetic amplifier section 6, 6C2, 6C7. Alright, 6C6. Provide signals to gate the silicone rectifier assembly with a supply with the excitation of the main generator. The SBP sensor bypass panel. The panel is modular assembly point for the electrical cabinets that are used in. 8-9 shows the excitation control panel sensor. The rectifier control panel and the sensor bypass panel. Conjunction with the sensor for the primary device for the panel with the sensor bypass for the transistor, the function with the transistor match for the generator feedback signal with the reference signal with the load with the regulator, the matching with the transistor instead of the directly by the sensor ensure the stability of the positive response. The RCP or the rate control panel, the solid state with the electrical quantum device control, the rate of the change of the power made with the refer to section 6 of the manual of the discussion of the rate control panel circuit. The performance of the control panel is directly related to the calibration of the main generator excitation control circuits that are placed on the performance control panel. Figure 810 center of the other device is also related to the main generator excited. The rate of the control panel load regulator, for example, are located elsewhere in the electrical cabinet or elsewhere in the locomotive. Warning: if the lead is connected with the CR1 for the current transformer. Figure 810 performance control panel basic module dynamic braking motor control motor cutouts. Located the main generator, disconnect with the main generator delivery current with extremely high and damaging voltage will result. The CA37, CA38 with these capacitors due to the suppressed surge for the current feedback circuits. The CR1 rectifier currents current feedback with a signal with the main generator with the power control circuit. The CR40 with the rectifier for the voltage with the feedback signal form with the main generator power control circuits. CR41A, the blocking rectifier operates the performance of the control capacity circuit with the calibrates with the bending of the point of the power limit line. The CR41B, the rectifier establishes the circuit with the current circuit to protect with the main generator feedback with the current transformer against possible open circuit voltage. Calibration resistor. The performance control panel was designed with a fixed precision resistors to eliminate the many adjustments as possible. Refer to the section 9 of the locomotive service manual for the information is concerned with the circuit adjustment. Refer to section 6C for the example explanation of the performance control circuit. The caution more of the ordinary discretion should be used with attempting to calibrate performance control panel circuits. Alright, R1 with R2 with the resistor calibrated with the voltage feedback signal with the main generator, the power control circuits. The R3 with the control of the current feedback signal with the main generator with the power control circuit. The R4 with R6 of the resistance established the slope performance control power limiting line on the basic SD45 with the line closely parallel to 3,000 horsepower with curve. The R5 through R7 the resistors calibrate the reference voltage and establish the point of the main power control line with the parallel to 3,000 horsepower curve on the basic SD45 with the point of the curve to track speed of 11 miles an hour. R8 recalibrates the main generator current feedback signal during the dynamic braking. R9 recalibrates the main generator voltage feedback signal during the operation of motor cutouts. 310 recalibrates the main generator current feedback signal during the operation of motor cutouts. R11 on the basic SD45 with the resistor connected with the excitation control circuit with the first step of the motor field with the change of the voltage drop across the rate of the control panel. The resulting change of the voltage drop across the load regulator rheostat acts to nullify the effects of the performance control circuits at moderate to high track speeds. With the R11 and the R12 on the SD45 locomotives equipped with special performance control characteristic, the R11 recalibrates the main generator voltage feedback signals And the R12 recalibrates the main generator current with feedback signal. The recalibration nullifies the effect of the performance control circuits on mid or high track speeds. Dynamic braking regulation panel, figure 811. The panel is provided with locomotive units equipped with dynamic braking if not used for the basic locomotive. Alright, show the rheostat, the dynamic braking reactor, dynamic braking resistor, the continuous reactor, the capacitor, and the zero node diode. 811 dynamic braking regulator, C4A41 anti-dissipation capacitor. Current charge for the capacitor will flow over the operating coil with the dynamic braking resistor for before the zero diode Z1 begins to conduct. Means the dynamic braking regulator will operate dynamic braking current with a rapidly approach of 700 amperes, regulating the point with determined with the 0.1 with the rheostat and 110 setting with the anticipation effect result in the stable dynamic braking regulator function with little or no overshoot. The CR45 blocking rectifier operates with increased effectiveness anti-dissipator capacitors brake regulation circuit. The dynamic braking regulator within the brake current with the maximum allowable value of the voltage across the braking resisting grid sufficient to cover the current of the flow operating coil of the dynamic braking regulator, which is sensitive to polarized DC relay. Relay contacts appropriate conjunction with the brake control with the brake control panel to modulate the dynamic braking current. The rheostat 10 RH10 rheostat calibrates the operating value of the dynamic braking regulator. The Zero diode brake Zener. The Zener diode provides reference voltage at which the current will flow with the operating coil of the regulating relay. Alright, brake warning panel for figure 812. The brake warning circuit with the function of the protect the dynamic braking equipment should be the dynamic braking regulator fails to operate properly. The operating principle comparable to the dynamic braking regulator is set with the operate the higher value of the dynamic braking current. Alright, you have your brake warning, braking warning auxiliary. You can use rectifier 46, brake warning relay, Zener diode 3, rheostat 11, dynamic braking warning panel. The BWA, the brake warning relay auxiliary, the brakes current with the safe value with the voltage across the brake resistor grade with the sufficient to cover the current flow from the brake warning relay auxiliary with the brake warning relay auxiliary drops out the brake warning relay. Brake warning relay. The brake warning relay is energized, however, when the control of the fuel pump, which is positioned for the normal locomotive operation, the de-energized for the operation of the brake warning auxiliary. Brake warning relay auxiliary with a dynamic braking current exceed with the safe value with the fail-safe agreement prevents the locomotive for the operating power of the dynamic brake with the braking warning auxiliary relay is not functioning. Brake warning relay prevents excessive dynamic braking current with the connection with the base for the control transistor rate control of the negative through the low value resistance. The CR486 blocking rectifier. The rectifier ensure the operation of the brake warning relay should be operating beginning with the dynamic braking with the reverse lever then properly positioned. The RH11 rheostat calibrates the operating value of the brake warning circuit. The Z3 brake warning Zener diode provides the reference for the voltage at which the current will flow with the operating coil with the brake warning relay auxiliary. Or extended range control panel figure 813. Alright, extended range control panel figure 813 calibration rheostat 9 RH9 calibrates the braking current with the feedback with the signal of the T6 to the increase of the resistance relay with the IRR. Rheostat 12 calibrates the braking current with the feedback with the signal with the T6 to the lockout relay LOR. Rheostat 13 calibrates the braking current with the feedback with the signal with the TS7 T7 to the decrease the resistance decrease resistant relay DRR. Alright, 813 extended range dynamic braking control panel. You have your lockout relay, IRR, decrease resistant relay, current reactor, resistor 35, current reactor 44, T6 and 27, rheostats 9, 12, 13, and 14. Rheostat 14 can recalibrate the braking current with the feedback signal with the T7D and the decreased resistant relay To achieve the stepping of the brake program, switch at the low current level to the lower track speed. The CR6 rectifier assembly change with the signal with the T6 to T7 to a direct current signal. The LOR lockout relay. The function of the lockout relay is to prevent operation of the brake program and the degree for the resistance decrease the direction of the locomotive speed with the dropout with the predetermined level. The lockout relay compares relative to the level of the motor field with the current signal with the brake current the signal by the T6 with the greater current drop below with the given value with the locomotive speed less than optimum. The release code of the contact decrease the resistance of the direction, thereby setting the upper circuits with the drive of the program switch in the decreased resistance direction. The IR increased resistant relay, the relay compared with the output with the brake of the current with the BCT or brake control timing with I'm pretty sure it was brake control timing with a variable voltage engineering control. The primary purpose is to establish circuits to drive the program with increase the resistance of the increased resistant relay with it also operates with the circuit to provide the brake program switch in the decreasing resistant direction. The DR decreasing resistant relay, the relay compared with the same signal with the increasing resistant relay. However, it operates a lower brake with the current value only to make the brake with the circuit with the drive of the brake program switch in the decreased resistant direction. The RE35 stack fixed resistor provides a load range for a T6 to 27, T6 to 27 braking current feedback signal transformer, braking current transformer, BCT. Or braking current transducers is what BCT means. Braking current transducers 6 and 7 sense dynamic braking current value with the impedance of the coil as part of the transducer. AC voltage from the D14 alternator is applied with the brake current transducer coil and the AC signal proportional with the brake current result. The T6 and T7 transformer signal with the usable value. Extended range step control panel, figure 814, BPR, brake positioner relay. The relay function for the position of the brake program, which exact current center of the extended range braking position each time the steps. Time delay protection relay, time delay protection relay. The relay energizes the part of the program which operates in the center. 814 show the dynamic braking step control. The switch cam, the exact center of the switch for the position picks of the brake up with the circuit with the actuator, the stepping of the program with switch with the delay dropout allow the program switch the actuate relay time to pick up after stepping of the program switch in one step, thereby preventing the overshoot. CR43 acts as blocking rectifier with the brake program switch positioner circuit. RE36 limits current for the brake program switch to the motor. Acceptable value also acts as dissipate current of the generator for the brake program switch permanent magnet motor. Alright, your equipment mounted directly on the main control panel. The relay the device with the mount of the main control panel, but not individual modular circuit panels that are described in the following article. The device are shown in figure 8.6. The BR brake relay. The brake relay is energized with the selector handle within place in the in-brake position and contact set up with the dynamic braking circuits. Your COR cutout relay on a unit equipped with the traction motor cutout. The relay is energized with the traction motor cutout. The switch is in position and cut out with a pair of motors. The interlocks the operating with the transition power control circuit with the establishing conditions required with the motor cutouts. The ELD or excitation limited relay. The early SD45 when excitation time limit relay or electric ELR picks up remains picked up with the 10 seconds. The excitation limit delay will time out when the light lets itself and then drop out the generator with the contact excitation limit light will come on. On late model SD45 unit, the excitation limited relay picks up the excitation limit delay relay, immediately responds to the contacts X modulate locomotive power relays excitation locomotive relay. Or if the excitation locomotive relay fails to drop out the time, or is it reactor delay contacts excitation limit delay relay, drop out the generator field to GF, turn on the excitation limit the last of the excitation limit delay relay. The circuit then was restored and placing the throttle into idle position with the isolating unit. ER, engine running relay. The function of the engine running relay is set uncontrolled circuit with the governor speed setting with a cylinder. Therefore, the engine running relay is de-energized, suching during the operation of a certain safety device, the diesel engine will not run above the idle speed. Your FTC, or fault detection panel. The fault currents for the main generator caused by the transportation action. Current surge for the generator field curve with the excitation cable of the control rectifier to the generator field windings path through the frame of the current transformer. fault detection time transistor that detects the current. Surges send the signal with the fault detection of the circuit with the circuit amplifier with the signal monitor engine drive with the fault detection relay fault detection counters as applicable. Your FDL or fault detection limit light relay. The relay energized with the fault delay relay with the fault detection relay picks up the fault detection light relay. Then picked up the mechanical latch relay with the fault detection light relay. Picks up the inspect the forward generator traction motor fault light on the engine control panel and comes on. Early module locomotive with the ground reset button on the locomotive control stand will not release the fault detection light relay. They may be unlatched by the bob opening the electrical cabinet doors, pressing the release button on the relay. On later models of the SD45, use the ground reset button with the put on the light on the engine control panel with light fixed with a fault detection light relay itself remaining until the release button is released, relayed, and press. Units equipped with the fault corners will lock out after 3 pickups. The fault detection relay with the short circuit such as called with the failed alternator AR10 diode motor flash over the power contactor fails. Occur with the fault detection circuit send with the signal with the fault detection relay with the relay of the trip with the all alarm bell ring with the diesel engine restricted to idle speed. Generator excitation is locked with the inspect with the generator traction motor fault. The light comes on. The fault detection relay held in the trip position by the mechanical latch must be reset by the pressing of the ground relay reset button on the locomotive control stand. Note, if the relay of the fault detection relay comes on with the inspection forward light to go out with the light on the fault detection relay or the fault detection light relay inside of the electrical cabinet remains on. Forward and reverse relay. The relay control the direction in which the locomotive will move. The designation forward and reverse are related to the number 1 end of the unit. The relays are energized with a train line control current with a reverse lever and placed in the appropriate position. Contact with the relay makes the brake circuit with the up on using local current actuating heavy-duty electromagnetic switchgear. The switchgear establishes the direction of the high-voltage main generator current flow of the traction motor field with the crossover wires, each with the jumper cable receptacle between the units. The locomotive consists of the range whenever the makeover consists of the appropriate relays and the train units will be energized. The fuel pump contactor, FPC fuel pump contactor. The purpose of the fuel pump contactor is to bring and shut down the diesel engine. When the stop button or one of the emergency fuel cutoff button is pressed, the dropout of the fuel pump contactor is accomplished, shutting down the brake circuit with the governor and setting the solenoids at the same time and independently energize the shutdown DV. FPR, fuel pump relay. The relay prevents the engine starting until the control of the circuit is established. It also provides the train line control with the fuel pump motor with the control with the fuel pump switch. The FSA, field shunt auxiliary relay. The relay with the conjunction of the power with the transition of the forward transition relay. Forward transition rectifier to ensure that the generator with the decay of the forward transition series parallel curves relay also ensure that the backward transition will not take the place of the motor field shunt and ensure that the dropout field shunting contactors for main generator side with the dynamic braking. FSC, the field shunt control relay. During the braking transition of the the series parallel motor, the field shunt control operates with the bring with the field shunting contactors immediately after changing the motor connection has been made. It is not necessary to connect to go full field with the step of the field required step shunt. FTRA, forward transition relay auxiliary. The relay with the ring wheel, the knockdown with the forward transition relay, and FTR with the pickup of the backwards transition relay at the proper movements of the transition sequence. The FTX, forward transition relay auxiliary, provides auxiliary interlock for the forward transition relay functions. Alright, GDL, ground detection light relay. With the relay with an energy with the ground relay picks up with the ground detection light, with which also picked up with the mechanical latch within the day with the ground detection light. Picks up the inspection of the heavy graded light on the engine control panel comes on the early model locomotive with the ground reset button locomotive control stand on the ground detection light. It may be the latch opening electrical cabinet doors, passing the release button on the relay. On later models, SD45 unit for the ground reset button will put on the light with the engine control panel light affixed with the ground detection light itself will remain until the release button with the relay is pressed. Until equipped with the fault counters will lock out when the 3 pickups. GFR, the generator field relay. The relay is energized with the valve operating with open with the power that does not energize the dynamo braking interlocks perform the function associated with the excitation of the generator field. Your ground relay, the GR. The ground relay detects AC and DC high voltage grounds over the loss of 5 parallel alternator diodes in group that does not detect the voltage grounds. The relay is tripped with the inspection of the HV ground and light comes on with the alarm bell rings generated. The excitation and its loss of diesel engine restricted to idle speed, but the relay is held in the trip position. Mechanical latch and that must be in the pressing of the ground relay reset button and locomotive control stand. Note that release of the ground detection relay, the call of the inspection for the light, will go out with the light on the ground detection relay. Ground detection light relay. The ground detection light relay is an electrical cabinet remains on the side. Isolation auxiliary relay. Operating with the isolation auxiliary relay is energized with the contacts isolation switch with the capacitor connected with around the operating core with a delay with the dropped out relay with delay prevents immediate dropout with the power contact with the locomotive unit isolated under no power. NCR, no battery charge relay. The relay provided when the locomotive is equipped with a no battery charge light instead of the battery charging ammeter. The relay drops out whenever the auxiliary generator output stop with the contact with the connector to turn on the no battery charge light with the energy control panel. They may be engine sound alarm bell on the engine switching into the panel placed onto the position. The MVR, no RAC voltage relay. The relay energized by the AC current during the operation event with a DA14 alternator field with auxiliary AC power that otherwise lost. The no AC voltage dropout, the setup, the circuit with the sound of the alarm, the restrict the engine, the idle speed start with the turbocharger, auxiliary loop oil pump motor with the turbo auxiliary pump light, no more power light will come on. Caution, the no AC voltage relay equipped with the locking mechanism to hold relay picked up position. Failure to release the locking mechanism after locomotive test can result in serious damage to the turbocharger. OCP, or open circuit protection relay. The relay disrupts the extended range of dynamic braking circuit open as a default with any with a braking resistor grid with the primary purpose to protect the guided shorting contact for damage for the effect of the opening generator voltage excited with their capacity and to brake. Alright, your OVR over voltage relay. That with the alternator AR10 main generator will be stressed and the voltage allowed to reach this great value with the over voltage relay drops generator field contactor whenever the voltage across the main generator exceeds the safe level of nominal 1000 volts during the parallel motor connection and 1200 volts during the series parallel. PCR pneumatic control relay. The function of the pneumatic control relay is to reduce the diesel engine with idle speed with the penalty energy energized application breaks occur. PR, parallel relay. The contact with the parallel relay operate transition sequence circuit with the ensure the proper transition with the series parallel to parallel back and also control the generator excitation during the transition, recalibrate performance control circuit. SS1 through SS5 sequence step relays. The relay responded with the forward transition relay and backward transition relay, reactor. Drop out the contacts over the circuit to the back, pick up the appropriate motor field shunt contactors. The TDO and TDF slip control timing relay. The identification of the TDO can be indicated the time delay overriding solenoid and the TDF indicating the time delay generator field. The time detection overload relay time is the intervals during which the power reduction will occur for the tendency to slip of the detect with the length of the interval has been calculated to correct tendency to slip in the most instances. Your time delay generator field established time delay generator field established an interval delivered during the dropout of the generator field current with the contactor with a wheel slip relay notified in order to allow the time for the power reduction device current tendency to slip. If slip is correct with allowed, the time delay generator field times out with the auxiliary generator field contactor removes the slicing generator. TDS, time delay sanding relay. Pick up the wheel creep slip and slide relays energized with the time delay sanding relay cover the time delay application for the sand of the track. The TLPC, turbine lobe pump contactor. Function of the turbine lobe pump contactor energize the turbine auxiliary loop oil pump to energize engine start at the engine shutdown to preventing engine start until the auxiliary loop oil pump is operating. TLTD, turbine lube time delay relay. Turbine loop time delay relay. Whenever the main battery switch is moved, without open and close with the position turbocharged auxiliary tube lube, motor circuit breakers lube, the turbine loop time delay relay contacts close with a period of approximately 35 minutes. Energy of the turbocharger auxiliary loop oil pump contactor, or the turbine loop pump contactor. Which is in terms of control of the turbocharger auxiliary loop oil pump, the turbine loop time delay relay, recycle the circuit, interrupt with the engine start with a stop switch if the engine's caught with no voltage relay, AC interlocks and close. TRP throttle response panel. The panel is equipped with a tapped resistor connected with the relays. Relays energize slightly in combination according to the throttle position arrangement provided with the resistant and the throttle position. Figure and reference voltage are with the resistant and passive and power control circuit within the locomotive power, thereby precisely control the throttle position. A16 their throttle response panel. Voltage regulator, volt VR, figure 817. Locomotive low voltage system with equipment designed operating with a 74 volt DC power supply with auxiliary generator. The voltage must be kept constant regardless of the change of the engine and generator speed. The voltage regulator used with the auxiliary generator field excitation circuit the functions of the area excitation and the need to hold the output with a constant despite speed change. This device functions entirely automatically and should never be disturbed during operation. Alright. Figure 817 shows the voltage regulator. The regulator utilizes the solid state of the electronic component of the regulator auxiliary generator. The voltage regulator on this by the rapidly tuning the generator field circuit in the on and off, the turn on relation of the time off of the established auxiliary generator voltage of the regulator is called a static voltage regulator. Based over the exemption of the starting relay that you with no moving parts. It often desired with the change auxiliary generator voltage in order to change with the changing rate of at the locomotive. Batteries, however, necessary to maintain the stable reference voltage locomotive excitation power control circuit with the for these reasons the voltage regulators provide with the rheostat with the maybe term with the adjust the generating voltage between 72 and 76 volts will be with a stable 72 volt reference maintain the terminal marked for the 72 volt reference. Devices mounted on the cabinet car of the members. The FDD fault detection transformer. The transformer is the 815 sensor for the current that serves with the generator field excitation circuit and sends the signal with the faulty detection circuit with the device. The transition sequence switches figure 818. These switches are located on the electrical cabinets across members located with the base of the main control panel across the doors and switches isolated with the transition relays from the high voltage circuit of the main the use of the low voltage control circuit with the control currents that operate the transition relay. Your RE7 calibrates the ELR electronic excitation limit relay dropout. Resistant 27 excitation limit relay picks up the low voltage controller from the R on the left of the in the electronic location relay. Coils up and the relay pick up the current cable through the relay. Figure 18 transition sections sequence switches are rheostat 27, the rheostat 27 ELRB, transition sequence testing, normal manual forward transition, normal manual sequence transmission, normal back transformer, heavy-duty switchgear. The switchgear of the mount with the lower portion of the electrical cabinet generally opposite with the high voltage, high current with the circuit with the other device, the same general area of the control of the generator excitation with the engine starting with the high current voltage sensing the BCT and the BCT 6 and 7, the brake current transducers on locomotive with equipped extended range, the dynamic brake with the brake current with the transducer consists of the coil, one on gapless iron core with the cables with the cables with the carrying back braking current with the connect with the series with the transformer, transformer 6 and 7, and the alternator with the significant brake dynamic braking current relay independent of the brake and current transducers, coil the output with the transformers 6 and 7 with the connect with the series with the braking current transducers in proportion with the brake current with the output with the transducers and transformers T6 and T7 are directed with the dynamic brake control devices covering the brake program switch to respond given the value for the current. BPS brake program switch figure 819 extend with the range dynamic brake utilized with the 9 value for the braking grid resistance optimum. Obtain optimum brake strength between the speeds of approximately 23 miles an hour and 6 miles an hour. Values obtained with the shorting output of various brake resistors carriers operating with a short contactors established by a minimum multiple pole 9 position cam called the brake program switch. Alright, BTR, your backward transition relay, 60% of the total generator current is in a bus that passes through the relay frame. Operates the backward transition relay Generator voltage applied with the two coils of the part relay works to output of the pickup. Therefore, the relay will operate low current voltage is low and on high current with a high voltage is high. The third voltage coil is on the relay receives low voltage current and pulses during given movements of the operation sequence. Figure 819 shows the braking program switch. So here you go. BTR once again is backward transition relay. Alright, caution. If necessary to remove the magnetic tie bar over the back of the relay in order to position the relay over the main generator above the non-magnetic shim with the pin with the tie bar. But the tie bar must be in between the transition relay shim that must be positioned against the magnetic core. B2, B3, and B23 brake transition switchgear figure 820. Transfer switch is also energized during the dynamic braking. Connect the traction motor fields of the series circuit with the main generator to connect with the traction motor armatures, braking resistor grids, and during the operation under the power of the switch and drive to operate with the connecting of the motor fields and series with the respective motor armatures of the transformer switch with the similar functions located in the number 2 electrical cabinet. 820 show the braking transformer switchgear. The ELR excitation limit relay on the sub model for the SD45 locomotive unit with the cable through the relay sensing generator field. Current operated for the dropout engine relay ER. Reduces the engine speed within the main generator excitation current with the excessive excitation may be with the transition condition relay of the timing of the forward transition step may indicate with the electrical fault would result excessive for the main generator current with the transition condition of the time relay electric excitation limit detection relay and immediately which energizes excitation limit relay. Pickup will time out the excitation limit detection relay will locks itself and drops out with the generator field contact. The circuit remains locked out until the throttle is returned to the idle position. On late models SD45, the excitation limit relay extended drive the excitation limit delay relay immediately responding the contacts over the excitation limit delay relay, bringing the about modulation power of the excitation limit relay fields to drop out the excitation time delay contacts excitation limit delay relay close the latch excitation limit delay relay and drop out the generator field of the generator field relay. Forward transition relay, 6% of the total generator current with the bus comes in bus that passes through the relay frame operates the backward transition relay generator voltage applied with the two coils there through the part of the relay works through the output of the current pickup therefore for the relay will operate only a low current with the voltage low and on high when the current with the voltage is high. Third voltage coil with relays receive the low voltage current monetarily during the operation sequence. Alright, caution. If necessary, remove the magnetic tie bar over the back of the relay in order to position the relay main generator above the magnetic shim. Depending on the tie bar, the tie bar must be not interchangeable between the transition relays and the shim. That must be positioned as magnetic core. The FS1A, FSA, and FSA, FS1A, FS2A, FS3A field shunting contactors. These contactors energized with a single with a combination connected with the field shunting resistor of the parallel with the traction motor with the resulting reduction of the EMF of the motor with the rotating speed permits the operation of the voltage limit the main generator. Similar field shunting contactors are located within the number 2 electrical equipment cabinet. 821 show the field shunting contactor. Alright, the GF generating field contactor. This contactor connects the D14 alternator silicone controlled rectifier with the circuit or set for the operation under the dynamic under power or in dynamic brake. GFA, generator field auxiliary contact. The auxiliary contactor is energized during the operation under the power of the de-energized during operation dynamic braking. The dynamic during the braking and nullify the generator field contactors allows one single phase AC to be directed with the silicone controlled rectifier with the generator field excitation. Your generator, your GSA auxiliary engine cranking contact. The cranking motor can assembly with equipped with a heavy duty with the contact tip to make of the contact centering the solenoid operating with the engine crankshaft cranking motor pinion with the starting with the gear starts. The contacts normally with the carrying current to the cranking of the motor. However, they ensure the reliability and cranking device for the locomotive with the solenoid operated with the contact pilot. And still heavier duty auxiliary generators of the auxiliary engine cranking contactor with the auxiliary starting contactor also ensures the engagement of the use of each of the paired cranking motor pinions before power is applied to the cranking motor. GS engine cranking contactor. When fuel frame engine started switch for the plate for the engine starting. The engine's cranking contactor closed with the strap and apply the battery power to the starting cylinder. They are part of the cranking motor assembly. Cylinder drive with the cranking motor pinion for the flash, the mesh for the starting ring gear with the pinions are smashing the solenoid operated with the crank contactor is closed, energizing auxiliary cranking contactor or the auxiliary engine cranking contactor, which apply with the battery power with the cranking motors. Your GSX engine starting auxiliary contactor. And as a special extra, locomotive may be provided with equipment reduced voltage initial cranking on some locomotives with a dropping resistance inserted between the battery and cranking motors for the first few seconds of the cranking time to about a 1 volt evolution of the engine. To reduce the voltage cranking motor prevents the motor from building up mode's momentum and should hydraulically lock cylinders encountered with the cranking motors will withdraw. After a few seconds, the engine starting auxiliary contactor picks up and shorts out. Resistance between the battery and the motors and the full cranking power is applied. However, the power is applied with the engine lockdown cylinder. Lock cylinder will no longer be any damage. M12 motor current transfer switch. The electromagnetic switch is energized during the proper operation. Number 1 and number 2 motor armature with the respective fields within the switch and the energizer that connects the number 1 and number 2 motors are braking resistor grid. Your P1, P3, P4, P6 power contactor figure 822. These electromagnetic contactors are energized and closed with the contact for the traction motor full parallel of the main generator. Auxiliary contact for these contactors perform various functions on the control circuits. For the additional parallel power contactors are located in number 2 electrical cabinet. Figure 822 show the power contactors. Reset starting resistor, the voltage dropping the resistor applied with locomotives equipped with forward with reduced voltage. The initial contracting effort limits current with the cranking motor. The first and cranking terminal after the contactor of the engine starting auxiliary contactor shorts out with the starting the resistor full voltage applied with the cranking motors. Your RVF1, RVF2, RVF3 reversers switch gear forward. The electromagnetic switches control the direction of the current flow through the traction motor field of the current. Control the direction of the rotation forward. Reversing switches are energized with the versatile level on the locomotive control is placed in the forward position, and the energized with the local control power of the action forward relay or FOR. STD, start time delay relay. On locomotive equipped with a reduced voltage initial recranking, the starting time delay relay times up the peak of the auxiliary generator, starting general auxiliary starting contactor. S14, S36, power contactor figure 822. The electromagnetic contactor is energized closed with the connect with the traction motor with the series parallel main generator during operation under power during dynamic braking with the contactor closed connects traction motor armatures. Braking resistor grids, auxiliary contact. These contactors perform various functions in the control circuit with additional S contactors located in the number 2 electrical cabinet. Alright, number 1 high voltage cabinet, air cabinet, side figure 823, CR and BC battery charging rectifier. The battery charging rectifier consists of the pair of heat sinking module silicone parallel. The selenium compression rectifier protects silicone diodes and high voltage spike. The rectifier prevents battery current from the flow from the winding with the auxiliary generator, the D14 and alternating diesel engine stop. Alright, from the top you have your ERM F2 motor field shunting resistors and your resistor panel, silicone rectifier, battery charging rectifier, your battery charging rectifier, alright, battery charging resistor, wheels slip transition, W2 terminal boards indicating meter shunt. Alright, GPT generator potential transformer. The voltage AC side of the alternator AR10 rectifier with assembly that applied with the general potential transformer where it is transformed to usable value directed with the performance control panel. The REBC battery charging resistor located with the resistor installed with the particular auxiliary generator battery charging circuit against the high current event with a battery with a very low charge. REMF 1, 2, and 3 motor field shunting resistor. During locomotive operation, these resistors connect with the parallel traction motor field to reduce the electromagnetic force from the motors, allow full use of the power for the main generator. Silicone control rectifier AC power with the D14 alternator rectifier applied with the main generator and the control the account with the rectifier assembly figure 6C1 triggering device and the power control signal System signal with the amount of the power of the silicone control rectifier sent to the generator field. Your WST 16, 24, 35 wheel slip transducers. All traction motive of the locomotive with the rotation same road with the current flow with the cable leading with the motors equal with the cable when the pair of the wheels from the traction motor to the gear with the rotate with the greater rate. Current in the cable of the motor differs from that of the cable of the normally rotating motor with the current differential resulting magnetic flux around cables sent for the wheel slip transducer signal to the wheel slip relay. Your resistor panel, figure 824. The panel is located with the backside of electrical cabinet SH from the outside intake of the provided ample the cooling with the following heavy-duty requirements. Alright, you have capacitor 11, concurrent rectifier 17, your capacitor 13, rheostat 3, 4, 16, 1, 2, 19, 18, 17, 7, 6, 5, 11, 12, and 13, and 15. Resistor panel. Alright, CA 11 anticipator capacitor regulation. Current with the drive of the operator will flow over the operating with a dynamic brake regulator for the zero and dyno reference voltage to exceed with the current center tab of the rheostat. These were actually resistors, not rheostats. Rheostat 10 means the dynamic braking regulator will operate the dynamic braking current with a rapidly approaching the 700 amp regulating point to determine the Zenier diode 1 and rheostat 10 setting with anticipation of effective results. The dynamic braking regulator functions little or no overshoot. CA13 voltage spike suppression. The controls rectifier with the silicone control rectifier turn on the capacitor conjunction with the resistor 13 suppresses the voltage spike with a curve of the freewheeling diode around the alternator field with it turned off. Alright, your CR current rectifier is connected with the discharge rectifier around the D14 alternator field with the stabilizing D14 output. RE1 provides a limiting resistance around the silicone rectifier assembly with the AR10 field with dynamic braking. This is done obtaining the improvement of the low field current required during the dynamic braking. RE2 provides a load establishing the proper range of the voltage regulator rheostat. RE3 and 4 provide limiting resistance in the circuit with the ground relay resist. RE5 part of the wheel slip detection bridge of the circuit. RE6 and 7 adjustable rheostat provide with the proper voltage bright, medium, and dim highlight intensity. R12 protects against the accidental pickup of the S14 in the case of the transition the conditions. RE13 with the capacitor 13, the suppressor voltage spike with the curve of the freewheeling diode around the alternator field is turned off. RE15 calibrates the low voltage knockdown transition with the forward transition relay, then low voltage pickup the back transition relay. E16 calibrates the high voltage pickup the dropout backward transition relay. Rheostat 17 controls calibrates the high voltage pickup of the dropout of the forward transition relay. And resistors 19 calibrates pickup of the over voltage relay. Alright, your number 2 high voltage cabinet. The cabinet of the 825 house with the switchgear comparable to the located with the number 1 electrical cabinet. B, the braking power contactor figure 822. During the dynamic braking and power contactor connected with the series with the traction motor field with the main generator that's high with the current interrupting the capability during the transfer of the braking power operation. Always open before the dynamic braking transfer switches, which have only low current with interrupting capacity. B5 and B56 brake transfer switching device. The transfer switch is energized during the dynamic braking to connect with the traction motor field and series circuit with the main generator and connector of the motor armature for the unit of the brake resistor during the operation of the switch with the de-energized with the operating connecting motors field to the respective motors armatures. Left side, braking. You have your braking transfer switches. You have your reverser switching gear, switch gears. Parallel 5 and 6 and braking in the 5 and then the SD45 switch wheel slip relay I'm sorry, it's a lot of different, it explains each one of them, so just keep going. Alright, FS1 and FSB, FS3B field shunting contact the contactor energize the engine with a contamination field shunting with a resistor panel traction motor and an M45 motor current the transfer switch from 820 electromagnetic switch energized during the operation with the number 4 and number 5 armatures. Motor armature for the respective field with the switch to de-energize the connects to number 4 and number 5 armatures breaking resistor grid. The OCP is an open circuit protection relay. Relay acts to disrupt the extended range of the brake circuit if an open is developed any of the brake resistor grids and primary purpose is to protect the grids for the shortening contact with damage effect with the opening with the generator voltage except for their capacity to break. The P2, P5 power contactors contact the with the complete parallel motor connection with the main generator function capable of the P contacts located in the number 1 electrical cabinet figure 822. The RVR4, RVR5, RVR6 reverser switch reversal figure 820. The reversing switch are energized with the reversal level of the locomotive control to place in the reverser position. They are energized local control power through action reverse relay or RER. The S25 power contactor 822 connects the number 2 and the number 5 motors in the series of the main generator functionally comparable with the S contactor located in the number 1 electrical panel. The WS25 wheel slip relay operating coil relay is connected with the bridge circuit with the number 2 and the number 5 traction motor armature with the loss of adhesion caused with the 1 motor armature rotate at different speed with electrical paired per motor with relating operating coil is energized and power break effort is reduced and adhesion is regained. The AC cabinet figure 826 is located on the equipment rack engine room. The house with electrical contactor used for the contactor AC motor driven cooling fans is also contains relays under the control of the air compressor loading unloading for the control automatic air filter strains and addresses. This shows the AC cabinets alternating the fan contactors AC1, AC2, AC3, CCS, CCR, TBO, CCE, SVH, MV, TB1. These will be later supplied like CCS, compressor control switch. The compressor and control switch end sensitive to the main reserve pressure for the trip of the engine of the compressor relay, also unit with the considered for the main reserve if any one of the units fall below the desired pressure. On special order, second sensing device can be included with the compressor control switch. This device is de-energized with the compressor relay with the individual unit with the main reserve pressure until the unit approaches the safe valve setting of the unit. Additional with the function with the compressor control switch, the pickup of the compressor control relay CR contacts the magnet valve of the relay. Magnetic valve is made with the auxiliary strainer drains. The strainer drains blow free of the movement when the magnetic valves are energized or de-energized. Alright, CRL, compressor relays. One unit's equipped with the synchronization compressor consists of the compressor relays. All units consist of the energized main air reserve pressure. Units fall below the pressure preset level of the compressor relays. Individual units remain energized until all reservoirs are pressured build up to the normal level. Are your MV and CC magnet valve and compression control. The compressor with the controlled magnet valve is de-energized with the air compressor underload. The valve open with the compressor begin with the pump. Magnetic valve open to the energized with the compressor relay. Energized with the compressor relay correspond with the compressor control switch. Individual unit with the compressor control switch and each of the unit of the consist. Alright, your magnetic valve and your shutter control, MVSH, shutter control. Number 2 cooling fan may begin to interlock with the cooling fan control, pick up the energized shutter magnetic valve, compressed air emitted with the shutter operating pistons. Your dynamic braking hatch. The D1 through D6 grid shorting contactor figure 827 on the locomotive equipped with the extend with the range of the dynamic braking with all breaker resistor grids and traction motor armatures are connected with the single series loop during the dynamic braking. The power contactors D1 through D6 signal in the combination shorting the increased length of large agreement with the brake resistor grids. Locomotive speed decreases. Contactors are act to reduce total resistance grid and allow current flow through the grids to remain high level. Even the voltage from the motor decrease with the train speed drops. Figure 827 shows the dynamic braking grid shorting contactor. Service data electrical equipment. For the routine maintenance part for the inspection of the floor, the equipment compartment seal the pressure sensor back tape to the type gasket 1/16 by 3/4 inch rubber cork, 1/16 by 1/7 inch rubber cork, rubber weather sealed plastic sealing compound 7.5 pound can, 1.5 pound can, liquid neoprene plastic sealing compound. Liquid neoprene is used to seal electrical cabinets, generate pits, area with electro, dirt, and water, and seal the pressurized area. You have a splicing for splicing and forming electrical putty, tape friction, tape empire, cloth empire, tape electrical to hold control wires to hold the outer layers over the taping, tape electrical glass fiber to hold together the power cables, tape electrical insulation wire pump pulling compound. For cabinet air filterization, pleated cotton paper elements, two per housing. Applies to GP38, SD38, GP40, SD40, and SD45, September 1967. Alright, this was the Electric Motor Division's SD45 Locomotive Service Manual, Section 8, Electrical